Welcome to Heart Home Community's most recent Baldwinsville Community Update. I'm your host, Shelley Hoffman. We hope you enjoy the show and find it very informative. Hey everybody, it's Shelley Hoffman here with Bob Wicks, our town supervisor for the town of Lysander. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing okay, like we were just talking after I got my COVID shot. So like Shelley was telling me, my wife went in, she didn't say anything. I was squealing like a little baby. And I did find out that the needles they put in the guys are bigger. And, it's not going to kill you, but you can feel it.
I literally, and you're not lying. When you said it hurt, I asked you how your wife did, and you said not a peep. And I just said that's no. Typical. No offense to the guys out there, but I was not surprised to hear that she took it like a champ.
No, she's a lot tougher than me when it comes to that stuff all day long.
Yeah. So, and then just to put it out there too, Bob, obviously I'm hoping neither one of you have any side effects. I mean, everybody's been reacting differently to these vaccines. So hopefully, other than being a little bit tired, that's the worst that you feel. And she's probably out there figuring out how to go shopping or do her garden or keep busy, if I know her.
she actually went to work. She's still working, but no problems with her, but I know our engineer had the same thing. And yesterday he was a little tired, kind of like I am. And today he feels a little off, but he's at work. So yeah, it's not anything that's going to debilitate you depending on who you are.
That's true. So other than, sitting there and doing your part in vaccinating and all that fun stuff, what's been going on in the town of Lysander?
Well, we're moving forward with hiring a new parks administrator, and we are kind of restructuring the way the parks and the way the parks and highway work together. We're going to try and get more of the work that used to be farmed out to private companies. We're going to try and do that in-house, and I think we can do that with our highway. They have a lot of skills that we could utilize in the park, and it costs us a lot less. The highway charges back because they come out of a different fund. They charge the town back for the time they put over there, but it's usually at about 60% of the cost of what we would have to pay if we went somewhere else. So we're looking to integrate the highway and the parks together when it comes to maintenance. Like this winter, I got a couple of calls about the pass on in the park, and I didn't realize that our tractor was broken. And because it was broken, by the time I found out about it, the trails were already covered with snow. Yeah. I couldn't have somebody go in because it would have tore up the path itself and on the side. So we had to wait until now. So the paths are going to be open, and I apologize for that. I just didn't, because we don't have a park director. The information got back to me late, actually through some residents wanting to know why the path wasn't plowed. And I didn't know it wasn't plowed. I thought it was being plowed. And then I find out from one of the parks people who works there part-time, takes care of the dog bags and things like that the tractor broke. Well, and it really isn't his responsibility, but he didn't inform me until I asked him about it. And by then it was too late to get the paths plowed. So that won't happen next year because we're getting a brand new tractor, which will be a parks tractor, and they'll be able to do that all next year. So.
No, and I did hear about that, and then they said that you did respond to them exactly what happened. The nice thing about it is people are using the park, right? In order for them to be able to say the sidewalks aren't being plowed or taken care of, it's because they're out there using it even the winter time. So
the reason I didn't respond with exactly what happened because I didn't know. I made a couple of phone calls over there, and by the time they got back to me, I thought it was going to be taken care of. When I heard that it wasn't plowed, I called the parks employee and said, well, have the highway superintendent see if you can use one of his plows and plow it. Well, the highway superintendent was busy with other things. The parks aren't a priority for him. By the time I thought they were being plowed. By the time it got back to me, I recontacted the highway superintendent, and he told me we weren't able to do that because of what I just explained to you. Okay, so there was a miscommunication with us. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to be non-responsive to the citizens. I just thought it was being taken care of, and it wasn't. So that's our fault, our communication inside. And that won't happen next year because, like I said, we're getting a new tractor and we're going to have people working over the winter. So that shouldn't happen again.
No, I think people can understand. Obviously, we've talked about in the past, Tony, who was the parks director, he probably was at the park every day. With not having someone in that position, it makes it hard. Now, you did say when you started talking that you're looking to hire somebody for that position now?
The two of our counselors, Gerasi and Kudaraskis, they're working on coming up with a new job description, and it should be, if anybody's interested, that should be advertised sometime this week. We're going to put it in the paper. It'll be on our website, probably in the messenger. And yes, we are going to hire a new parks administrator that will take care of all of those things.
Perfect. And that's perfect time. I mean, if you read the ticker I have across the bottom talking about what's going on just in time for spring of 2021, I think people are excited to get back into the parks with sunshine like we have today. Some heat coming through, right?
Pretty impressive that you're able to do that as we're speaking. I'm not going to ask you your wizardry, but that's nice. I didn't even notice it. I'm looking at you, and I saw something moving by. Okay, yeah, I like it.
Thank you. So other than obviously getting somebody for the parks and and the equipment that you're going to need for next year, are you planning any programs for the park? What's been typically our park is pretty active. What does that look like with COVID? I mean, can we even do anything like that?
We're going to hire a parks administrator soon. So we decided to leave that up to that person. Park doesn't traditionally open up until April anyway. So we have time. But with COVID, I mean, I've been listening to the information that is being put out by the county executive and a lot of it, and the CDC. Now they're saying that if you have the vaccine, and most of the people have the vaccine, you can meet in groups. So I would say if you have a group, if everybody's received the vaccine, it's probably good to go. How are we going to do that? I don't know. That's something we'll have to have some further discussions about, but that's going to be left up to the parks director. One of the things I'd like to do this year, and we talked about, is open up that spray park. I know we got a lot of calls about it last year, but we and I personally did not feel comfortable last year opening that up. It's just a big petri dish, the way, with the water and everything in there. Now, hopefully we can do that this year. When and are we going to be able to do it? I don't know, but that's our goal. I'd like to open it if we can do it safely. If we can't do it safely, we're not going to do it. But, our goal is to open it. We have it there. We want to open it up. And as soon as we can, we will open it up.
One thing I want to mention, a little bit off topic, but you had said is meeting in groups if everybody has the vaccine. I was on a mastermind kind of a call yesterday talking about the vaccine. If you've had the vaccine, you haven't done it yet, they suggested taking a picture of the card. So if you go somewhere and you have to prove you've had the vaccine, you would have that image on your phone. I'm not telling people to do it. That was just thrown out in the group because if you go somewhere and they say whatever the restrictions have been lifted at the time, if you can prove you've had the vaccine, and that might be something, to consider doing for group activities as we go forward.
Yeah, they actually suggested that. They gave me, my wife and I, our cards, and that's exactly what they said. Take a picture of it, put it somewhere, because you only get one card. If you lose it, you're out of luck. So you have to do something. I actually brought it with me. I'm going to make a copy of it, keep the original at home in my lockbox, keep the copy with me. And then I'll put that in my wallet. That way, if it gets destroyed or lost or something, I have the original at home. But yeah, they did say that because they only give you the one. If you lose it, you're probably going to have to go get another shot.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know when I qualify to get the vaccine. I haven't even looked because I can't imagine I'm anywhere close until they open it up to everybody. But I did hear that you get one card and don't lose it. So
right. And I did hear the county executive yesterday. I think he said that they almost have more spots available than they have people to fill it. So he wants the CDC or the state to open it up to more people. So I would keep an eye on that, because it's probably going to open up fairly shortly.
Okay. That's good to know too for everybody. So other than parks, I know you're busy because we chat a little bit as we're going through stuff. What else do you have going on in the town?
Well, we have the West Entry Road. We got some funding from our county legislator, Brian May, actually intervened last year, and I explained this before. We applied for a $50,000 grant and really weren't going to get it. I called him up. He got involved, and we got that $50,000 grant. So that $50,000 is going to go to repave West Entry Road from 60 Road to the railroad tracks. Now that's the worst part of the road. From the railroad tracks to Loop Road, National Grid is actually going to be doing some work along the side of the road there. And they have to come out into the road right up to the white fog lines. In order to do that, they got to tear the road out. So our highway superintendent and engineer have been working with National Grid to figure out what are they going to do? How are they going to make that road? How are they going to fix that road? So they actually worked it out with National Grid. So that National Grid is going to give us $102,000 to repave the road. With that $102,000, we're going to be able to do the whole road. The reason we're able to do the whole road is because we get it on state bid. Our costs are much less than what private contractors can do. So instead of National Grid paving half of it, doing it themselves and paving half of it, they are giving us the money, and we're going to pave the whole thing. So that road from 60 Road will be all redone this summer, and probably in the spring, because National Grid wants to get on it. Probably done by, I'd say, maybe June, all the way up to Loop Road. And then next year, I think that the idea with National Grid is they're going to do whatever work they're going to do. They're going to carry on from Loop Road up to Willett Parkway. So hopefully we can do the same thing next year, and that whole stretch of roadway will be all brand new. And what we're doing right now is going to cost us about $160,000, $150,000 of it, $152,000 is going to be paid by someone other than town residents. So really, we're actually only going to be putting in about $8,000.
Wow, that's good.
Into that project. Connell Terrace is another road that has needed repair for decades. I mean, that's been bad for a long while. So the superintendent put that on his, that's the big project for us this summer. Just like we did on Mott Road, where we replaced all the drainage down there. All the drainage and the catch basins and the road is going to be totally redone all the way down. So all that water that people have been experiencing probably the whole time they've lived there will probably go away. And what they did on Mott Road, they actually tapped in their sump pumps, because it's not called Indian Springs for, just because there's springs underneath. So sump pumps run a lot. They come out into the yard. They actually connected the sump pumps into the drainage, so that pushed that away. So that took away a lot of the water off of Mott Road, and we're going to do the same thing on Connell Terrace. And I know people have been waiting that for a long while, and so that should be done, as soon as we can get to it, as soon as the weather breaks and we can get out where they can start paving. I think we finished Mott Road. Mott Road took a while because it was a big project, and Connell Terrace is going to be a big project, but by the end of summer, that road should be all redone for the wintertime.
Oh, good.
We have the lighting project, putting all new LED lightings throughout the town. And we actually borrowed the money last year because we thought we were going to be able to really start cooking with it last year. We couldn't do that because the SEC had to give us the okay. They had to okay the purchase of the town buying the lighting from, I think it's the SEC. Purchase the lighting from National Grid. And now that they approved that, I was talking to the engineer, and I just signed a document the other day that had to go out that was part of the contract that we had. So we should be getting going on the LED lighting for the rest of the town this summer. So you should see a lot of that work. Or if you have existing telephone poles, you get new lights. There are some areas where they haven't had lighting where they will get it now, because we'll just be, as they move along, they're going to be pumping them all in, in developments, one at a time. So if they come into your development, then they're going to do the whole development. They're not just going to do one street at a time.
Nice.
The comprehensive land use plan. The comprehensive land use plan, CLUP, if you hear that, us discussing it at a board meeting, is moving forward. And what that is, that's a plan for the town. I formed a committee, and there's people from the town representing business and builders and farmers. And the committee takes a look at how we want the town to look for the future. So it's supposed to be updated every 5 years. This was the 5th year. 5 years ago, it hadn't been updated for 20 years. So they updated it 5 years. I don't want to go 20 years. So we're going to make sure we stay on top of that. This is the 5th year. We're going to update that. We're going to take, and things come up within 5 years, like solar. When they did that club 5 years ago, solar really wasn't an issue. Solar is a big issue now. So one of the things that the committee was charged with was take a look at solar. Where do we want solar to go in? Where does it make sense for the town? Where do we want growth? What type of, if we're going to have business, are there areas of the town that make sense for business? Kind of like, in my opinion, the warehouse that's going in on the end of Henkel and Route 48. It's on and off. Though that business is that warehouse is gonna be there. The trucks are gonna come down 690, go into the business, go back 690, get onto the thruway. That's where they go. Not gonna affect any traffic or affect our roads at all throughout the town. That makes a lot of sense. So that's what they want to look at. Where can we get some growth? What type of growth do we want? What do we want the town to look like? That's what they are doing. And then when they finish with that project, with updating the club, it'll come back to the town board, and we'll take a look at it to see if we want to see if we like what's on there, see if we want to add something, see if we want to take something away. But the town board will vote on that as a group.
Okay. Have you gotten any feedback as far as the warehouse? People positive or negative since the last time we spoke about it?
Well, anything that I've heard have been overwhelmingly positive. Now, just like anything, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. Right. But the negative comments were 2 and 3, 4 people. I mean, it really wasn't. I really haven't had personally had that many people call up and say that that's a bad idea. I don't know if people understand. That's going to bring jobs to our community. There's people that have been out of work for a long while. They're talking about 7 million jobs in New York State alone, where people are going to be losing. I mean, that place, if you have 2 people in a household working at that warehouse, you can make a pretty decent living. You'd have insurance. It's a clean facility. I think it's a very positive thing for the community, and it's not. And the traffic really isn't going to be a traffic problem because it's all trucks going down there, and the amount of trucks is going to be light compared to other warehouses because they do it. They kind of coordinate it with FedEx because it's a parts warehouse. So whatever the flights are with FedEx, that's how they coordinate their trucks. So they'll go in, they'll drop off their trucks, and then they'll drop off their tractor or trailers. And then they'll pick up some other trailers and bring it to a staging area. And that's it. They have it right down to a science, but that's going to bring in, 500 jobs to the area. It's going to help the downtown community with our restaurants and other businesses downtown. I think it's a good thing. So long answer is most of the comments have been positive, but like anything, some people don't like the idea. Some people want to keep Lysander the same that it was in the 1800s. I think that's not practical, but I respect their opinion. Okay, but I think the majority of the people like to see some positive growth.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You had mentioned the solar panels too when you were talking about the plan. And is there any updates? We talked about the solar panels going down there off of Hayes Road. Has that moved forward at all?
We're still working on it. That we should have something from the developer soon. I know they are working on it. I ask weekly, and I thought we were going to get something before now, but I know Plumley Engineering was doing a lot of work for the developer, and they're finished with their work. So it should be by the next time we have our meeting or our Zoom meeting here, I should be able to give you an update on that and a start date, that type of thing. But yes, that's still moving forward.
Oh, good. I have a couple residents that just talked to me about that because they're excited. They recognize it's going to be a long way away if it all goes through, but that's septic. They're kind of excited to get rid of the septic and have some sewers put down there because it's not a great area to be on septic, at least some of the residents that I talked to.
Well, the ones, I know the residences along the river, there's a lot of older homes as new people are buying them and they're updating their homes, they're finding they have to update that septic. And if you're living down there, now's the time to do it. Yeah. And I think realistically, it's at least 2 years away before we would be even able to talk about putting sewers down there, because that's the timeline for the project. They have to, do the excavation and everything else like that. And then there's a pump station that's going to go in, and a pump station, what it does just that. It pumps the sewage to the wastewater treatment. And so that has to go in first. Once that's in there and the pipes are laid, then we can start talking about putting sewers down in that area.
And that's the time frame they're kind of looking for, is if it goes through, how many years would it be? Is it going to be 2, 4, 5? And I know you can't answer that, but
I can give them a time frame. It'll be somewhere between 2 to 4 years. Okay. A minimum of 2, but somewhere between 2 and 4, because that project will allow Palmer School to tap into the sewers as well. Palmer Schools, what most people don't realize, that's on a septic. That has to be taken care of in the next 4 years. So when I say 2 to 4 years, I'm confident it's going to be 4 years, because Palmer School's counting on that project to be able to hook into the sewer system, so that at least, because they won't be able to put another septic in there. If they were to have to go the other way to where the sewers are, you're probably talking about $1,500,000 more to do it going the other way than it will coming down to Hayes Road. So that's $1.5 million savings for the residents once that sewer or that pump station is in down by Hayes Road.
I know I was surprised the first time you told me Palmer was on a septic system. I don't know why it surprised me, because everything really is septic out in that area. I know that through real estate, but for some reason for the school, and you had mentioned that they're going to have to do something. What is the reason behind they have to do something in 4 years? Is it because of guidelines, rules, the fact that it's failing? Why do they have to do something?
Yeah, it's failing. It's due to be replaced. Okay. And the assistant superintendent, Jody Rollins, before he retired, we had conversations. He said, when we started talking about this, it was 5 years. And he said, that would be a great thing for the school, because it will save the school district a lot of money. Perfect. Which means it saves us a lot of money.
Exactly. As taxpayers.
And the housing developments, Camerondale and Gloria Drive, coming down Hicks Road from Palmer, they have dry sewers now. They'll be able to tap into the sewers as well. So that area will get it. Then you'll have sewers all the way up to River Road. The goal, what I'd like to see is have that area be accessible to sewers within the next 10 to 15 years. This doesn't happen quickly, but once you get it up near Palmer School, we would need another pump station up by there. But if we get another pump station up there, it can go all the way down River Road. Then it'll be able to accept that.
Okay.
And you'd have it on the whole peninsula.
Any new plans or developments happening in the town that we haven't talked about, or any updates on ones from the past? Like I told you before we started, it seems like you always have something going on or an update. I never know where this conversation is going to go.
Yeah, there's talks about a couple of things I think would be good, but we're just talking about it now. So really, I couldn't even give you the information on it, other than there are some things that we're trying to obviously. There are areas of the town that need improvement. So we're trying to work on that. Areas that need improvement, maybe rehabbing some of those structures and refurbishing them and repurposing them for other things to make them more aesthetically attractive and make them more viable for the town right now, to put them back on the tax rolls. But we got 3 or 4 things we're working on, but nothing, we're just talking. So there's that I don't even know if those things are going to come to fruition, but we do work on when something comes up. If something comes up to me, I get on it right away, and I start the dialogue right away, and that's what I'm doing. So
perfect. Well, anything else you want to share with the town or the community before we part ways for another month?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is now that all the government workers can get vaccinated. I had Mrs. Mott, my secretary, put out something to all the town employees. I would like to get all the town employees vaccinated as soon as we can, so that people coming in don't have to worry about us, and then we don't have to worry about people coming in. So that'll loosen things up for us pretty well. But other than that, that's about it.
Well, as always, it's a lot. So I can't speak for the people watching the broadcast, but as someone who goes into utilizes as many resources as we can in the town, I'm looking forward to the parks. Even if there's no programs in the parks, I'm just looking for nice weather and getting back over to the park over there off of Smoky Hollow. It's a beautiful park. I'm hoping, if you've never been there before, that you utilize it. And I don't know what you're going to do with the spray park, but I know there's a lot of little kids out there crossing their fingers and their toes that you can find a way to open that this year.
Yeah, like I said, if as soon as we can open it up, it's going to be open. And there still needs to be, they have some concrete work in front of the spray park that needed to be done. That's already, we got that on the schedule to do this year. We got the pickleball courts. We want to redo those. We have money set aside for that. The volleyball courts, we're going to do some things. So that park, just like last year, we're going to keep moving forward with enhancing the aesthetics of that park and really making it look like a diamond over there.
One thing I want to ask you, I think we talked last year, and I apologize if I'm misspeaking, but didn't we talk about maybe getting some cornhole or something over there?
Yep, we have money set aside for that. And yes, there's a lot of places over there that we can put it. So what I'd really like to do is have the parks administrator get with the county parks. I'm sure they have a landscape architect over there. And then what I'd like to do is sit down with them and say, okay, this is what we want to do. We want to put cornhole in. We want to do, I forgot, we're moving forward with that, tearing down that old house next to the park. So you'll see all the fill that we're piling up. That'll all be pushed in, and that grant, that grant's moving forward too. We're just waiting to get the okay from them. So that we're going to be working on, I forgot about that thing. That house is going to be torn down. Then that's going to be another field over there. So what I'd like to do is have a landscape architect come in and say, hey, we want to do this. Have cornhole. We want to have lacrosse. We want to put a lacrosse field in. We're a lacrosse hub of the country, and why don't we have a lacrosse field? So we like to put in lacrosse in there, and you're going to see Jeff Kudaraskis, one of our counselors. he's been working hard with these different groups. So you're going to see a lot more utilization of those fields this year with people playing lacrosse and soccer and football. There's a lot of things going on there. So many, we had to cut them off because they were, he's got a schedule for them. So he got them all together and they worked it out so they could figure out the best times that they could utilize that. So the park's going to be utilized a lot more, and we want to keep moving forward to enhance the facilities that we have over there.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm excited. I walk down there quite a bit, and when you're exercising, as much as I don't enjoy exercising at all and walking, listening to my music, the more things going on, the more I would say energy it gives to the park and draws more people in too. So I'm excited. Well, thank you as always for your time, Mr. Wicks. And I look forward to hearing what the updates are next month. And hopefully the sun's shining and the snow is completely gone by the time we talk in April. And for those of you wondering why we're talking a week late, he was flexible in pushing our talk back a week because I had some other engagements I had to do last week. So thank you for that as well.
No, thank you again. I think, and I said this before, what you do is invaluable for the community. I wouldn't have a medium to do this, and I know you do it with the town of Van Buren, you do it with the village, you do it with Brian May. I think what you're doing is a great thing for the community, and I thank you.
Well, thank you very much. All right, well, you enjoy the day, and I hope the vaccine, your arm doesn't start hurting anymore, and that the worst thing that happens to you is you're kind of tired. So you'll have to let me know about that next month too there.
I will.
All right. Bye, Bob.
All right, thanks.